everybody's sitting in. We have enough chairs. Everybody, here's a honey.
She wants me.
Before we get started,
Yes,
I just
sir.
want to notify you
Yep,
up front
yep,
and give you this paper
definitely.
for the record. You might want to take a look at that and have your legal department take a look at that, being that this entire investigation has been done under the color of law and is in violation of the Supreme Court rules
Okay, okay. I'm not-
and in direct violation of the Constitution of the United States.
All right, thanks.
And this entire meeting is being done under duress due to threats made by yourself.
It's
and
not a
threatening to put
threat.
children into foster care.
That's what the county attorney's office has
You wanna stay with Mom?
basically stated to me. Because Jason, you have to understand, there was concerns brought to our office, okay, about something that may or may not have been going on in your household.
The fact of the matter is you cannot violate the Fourth Amendment and 14th Amendment in order to do a color of law investigation on our family. You cannot do it.
We're not doing it, we're not
Yes,
doing a
you are.
violation.
Yes, you are.
No, that's not her brother.
No.
Does he wanna come?
There is a presumption that fit parents act in their children's best interest, Parnham v. JR 442 U.S. 584 and 602. There is normally no reason for a compelling interest for the state to inject itself into the private realm of the family to further question fit parents' ability to make the best decision regarding their children, Reno v. Flores. She does no drugs, doesn't drink. There's your sober caregiver.
Okay,
There's your primary
So
care
you're saying
provider
you're
when the
not?
children are at my home.
are you saying you're not? Because that was the concern, it wasn't
They're saying
about
that I'm not
her.
what?
They're saying that you are smoking marijuana.
It's already been dealt
while
with.
you're present.
You have to
Yes,
look
I know,
at the
there was an
precedent that's
allegation.
already set.
And you have asked me,
But it's a
and
new
you were told.
allegation.
Yeah, it's the same allegation that I already beat upon appeal from the last time you harassed me.
So this was 2 years ago.
In Greece, yep.
Okay,
that's in
let
Greece.
me back up just a little
For
bit.
the exact same thing.
Okay,
Right.
okay, so let me back up. We here locally don't determine when calls come in, okay?
I understand
A call was made to Des
But the
Moines.
fact that you say that there is a confidential person or a third-party person that has reported this, that I cannot see, that is a violation of due process.
So we just,
But they're protected by law, we can't
we can't release
And that's
that
fine,
to you.
but when we go to court, they have to be there for me to cross-examine them, so their name is going to come up eventually because I have the right to see any and all accusers. Do you people not understand how the law actually works?
Here's what we wanna do. We just wanna get this done with Jason.
So do
Okay.
I. The kids are here, you see that they're fine, you're not interviewing the children in any way, you're not asking the children any questions whatsoever, they are here specifically to show to the court and to yourself, the children are fine,
So you're
they're not in
telling
any
me-
injured
Yeah.
state, they're not any of that. By the way, my son is 10, Dylan, do you want to talk to these people?
No, I do not.
Okay,
No.
okay, so, let's just talk about why we're here and how we can wrap this up, okay?
We can wrap this up when you guys decide that you're gonna stop violating the Constitution and pushing these illegal charges
Okay.
But we're not
that I have already
pushing
once
charges.
pushed.
We're not putting any charges
Yes,
against
you are.
Nope.
That's why you had the county attorney call and threaten her that if she
I didn't have
didn't
the
bring in.
county attorney call
The
me.
county
You had the
attorney-
county attorney's office, you told me that.
I told you that the county attorney told her that if I didn't
Oh,
bring
so this
them-
is all still hearsay. We don't actually have anything on record from the county attorney.
Here, I don't wanna take your
Yes,
copy
we
of
do
it.
have it on record.
Can I see that record?
I don't have it like right this minute,
Shouldn't you think you should come to these things prepared?
not when you tell me I'm gonna be there at 3:45, I was prepared to go to someone's house at 3:30.
So you
and
were
speak.
prepared to violate the Fourth Amendment in order to illegally conduct an investigation.
It wasn't a violation if I were one parent.
Are you
permission.
satisfied that the children are in?
No,
safe
that part
at
of the
this point?
statute, according to Cheryl Newport, is that they are interviewed, whether, you can be
You
present
cannot
for them.
order that interview. She has to have a court order for that
She
interview.
doesn't have to if you're willing
Yes,
to
she
give
does.
that.
And he's not willing to, and she's
All right,
not willing
I'm
to let him.
taking
talk
him
to you.
outside until you're
That would
done.
be good.
No, you don't, no, I'm the mother, I'm the one with full
That's fine,
custody.
Jamie.
Let's go.
There is no full custody, there's no court agreement, there's nothing.
Exactly,
And
that's
we're
the
still
reason we're not
married.
divorced, because if so, he would be in your presence a lot worse than this. So, you don't need to
Thank
listen
you,
to your
Jamie, thank
I'm
you.
not screaming.
Okay, so we've got an assessment we have to do. We have to do an assessment,
No,
okay?
you don't.
So Jason, what we need to determine is the
Your
allegations.
assessment is based on fraud.
Okay, are the allegations true or not? You're
No.
alleged that you're using marijuana in the presence of children.
No,
Okay.
I smoke marijuana, yes.
Okay.
Do I smoke marijuana with kids around? No.
Okay.
We've already been over this.
Okay,
There's already a precedent for this in
Okay,
court.
So what I hear you saying is you're not gonna cooperate with, you're not gonna allow me to, like, talk to the kids, whether you be here or
No,
not?
because neither of the children want to talk to you, and that's their Fifth Amendment. They do not have to talk to you.
Okay, and what it was explained to me by the Cheryl Newport was you can talk to the family.
And that's fine.
Encourage
All we
them.
all we are legally obliged to do at this point in time is to show you that they are physically in good hands, that they are safe, that they are well fed,
Okay.
that they are not being neglected in any way. That has been shown.
Okay.
They are physically here and
but
shown
we've
to
gotta ask
you.
you some questions about that, okay?
I don't have to answer anything.
You're
That's
right,
what
you
the Fifth
don't.
Amendment's for.
Okay, but what we wanna know is, the allegations came in. You're
I've
saying-
already told you,
you're
yes,
saying,
I smoke
I smoke
marijuana.
Okay.
Can we
It makes
test
no
the drug-
difference.
Can
Can we
drug
test the
kids?
kids to make
Hell
sure
no.
they're not
Okay.
being exposed?
Hell no.
Okay.
Because you know what? We went through that last time.
Okay, and what happened last time, Jason?
All negative. So it was all just harassment and undue stress to the children.
Okay,
Okay.
And they didn't just do it once, they did it twice.
okay. And I wasn't here at that time, so I'm not
And I
familiar with your
didn't
case.
do it.
Exactly, they cycle you guys out because the whole last crew got fired over the last deal.
Okay.
They're all still working, but
Well, they got transferred out of here pretty damn quick, didn't they?
So at this point,
Well,
what
if
we'd
not,
like
they
to
will
do,
be now.
what we'd like to do is know, are you willing to drug test for us?
What difference does it make if I drug test? It's inadmissible in court, you can't even use it.
Okay, so you're not
So
willing
no.
to drug test?
No,
Okay. And you're not willing to let
not
us,
without a court order, which is what you're required to have to get a
okay,
specimen.
then
you're not letting us, voluntarily, you're not gonna let us test your son?
No,
Okay. And then, that's your daughter.
Yes.
Are you willing to test for us so we know we have a sober caretaker for her?
Again, I'm a constitutional person. If you get a court order, I will comply with a court order.
Okay. Are you willing to, on a voluntary basis, let us test your daughter?
No, because
Okay.
she's terrified of doctors, she's terrified of police officers.
Okay.
My daughter is diagnosed as a high-leveling autistic child, therefore I will not allow things to occur without an attorney or myself present.
Okay.
Again, I am not being uncompliant. I am simply stating, I expect you to do it by
we are satisfying the
law.
basis for the court to show that the children are alive and well, and that if there is a court proceeding, the children will definitely be there.
And
It's
that's-
not like we're
I'm
keeping them
letting you know
from.
that I have
But the
to, this
fact
would have
is-
been an easy assessment, honestly, it would have been in and out and done, but
No,
now I
it's
have
never
to
an easy
approach the
assessment,
court
because
for-
every single time that I have tried to go through everything and jump through all these hoops and comply and go through Lutheran services and go through all this other crap for you guys, it's never enough. And I end up back in appellate court and I win every single time.
I'm sorry it's been like that for
So
you, Jason.
what we're saying is, if we can't get that from you voluntarily, we will approach the court to see if they're willing to order it, okay?
And that's fine.
Okay,
And I know
But the
that,
fact is that it stays in my system for 30 days.
It-
So if I smoke yesterday,
You're right.
it doesn't matter. But I'm not still under the influence of that drug just because it's still in my fat cells.
and we just wanna make sure you're not using in front of the children, around the children where they're exposed,
because that's what
and
was
that you're
reported.
Again,
not.
it's still
So you're
irrelevant.
saying he's never, I mean, so if we can just talk this out, that's
No,
gonna get us a
it's
lot farther too.
because it's completely irrelevant. And you're doing this all illegally and all under duress. There is no legal bounds for you to be trying to question our children without a lawyer present or without a court order. And the fact that you continually try to undermine that, did you not read what was written there?
So at this point,
Did you not read that it is
No.
a federal crime to coerce, intimidate, or threaten someone into surrendering their constitutional rights?
We were explained by the county attorney's office to make sure that you guys understand that this is what the next step is if you
The
don't
county attorney's office needs to
cooperate.
understand you have to show just cause on an emergency removal. That's why you have
We're
the
not
initial
removing
90s. She threatened me of
She
that
threatened to
today.
remove
I've got it on my
my
phone.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
Newport,
that's what, if you don't cooperate voluntarily, that's our next step.
that's
because
what,
we need to assure children's safety, that's our job, that's
The
all we
children
wanna
are
do,
safe and they're
okay?
here, and it's already been shown by one
That
judge that
doesn't
smoking
show that they-
marijuana in the home doesn't constitute child abuse.
Okay,
that part of the assessment that Grace did, you're right, that was overturned. The other part of that assessment was not though, and when Grace is still
The other
here-
part of that wasn't overturned was because I took them to somebody's house to watch a hockey game that had been convicted of selling drugs 10 years earlier.
Okay. But
And
see,
now,
we-
based on that, I got it for failure to provide proper supervision, only on that instance alone.
And that's-
Nothing to do with the drugs in the home, nothing to do with smoking it around the children, none of that.
Jason, this is what's being alleged now, just so you understand. that you're using drugs and marijuana and wax, you pick things out of marijuana and then you bake it. The child has said that dad doesn't do the wax when Dylan is at dad's, but dad does use the THC when the child is present. This child has seen the father prepare the wax, unknown when this is occurring. Dad has a girlfriend that resides in the home, and the girlfriend has a child that is present when this is occurring as well. That's the concern.
that's
Where the
not
date.
true.
Well, but if without talking.
But the fact
to
is you're
other
going off a
moms,
third-party person thing. You don't even have enough to go to court. She can try to push whatever she
can.
wants. The only thing that she's pushing right now is to allow you guys access to the children to see
Correct.
that they are safe and alive and healthy.
But she
That's
also,
it.
I just got off the
That
phone
is your
with
physical
her.
examination, and you've gotten
I
that.
got off the phone with her, and she said part of the statute is allow access and interview the children.
We're
And
not
she
going
said
to
without-
allow you to violate the
Okay, and I
Fifth
hear that.
Amendment
I hear that.
in
I
order,
heard you said that.
and our rights as parents under the 14th Amendment.
Okay.
It has been shown
She
time
said-
and time and time again
We'll
in
have
court.
to set it for a removal hearing. She said, bring me the paperwork in the morning.
So
If he's
why
not
remove
willing-
them if there's no harm?
Because you
Where's the
can't-
imminent risk of danger, death?
And that's where
We're
you
not
can fight it
determining
in the
that. The
court.
judge is gonna determine
Yeah,
whether or
we'll
not
deal
that
with-
is.
We'll deal
Because
with
we
that at
can't do it
court.
on a voluntary basis right now, because you're saying, hey, not right now, nope, I want a court order. We'll take it to the judge will
So,
then
get a court
determine-
order to question the children, not a
Yes.
court order to remove the
But
children
she-
from the home to foster care. That is two completely different things. That is orchestrated kidnapping under federal law.
You'll have to fight, you'll have to talk to.
No, actually, I'm not.
Newport about that.
Kim,
Okay?
call 911 right now. I'm placing you under citizen's arrest under Article 804.9, arrest by private citizen of the state of Iowa.
Okay.
And I will make it known that I do have the right to use any force necessary to arrest you.
So, there you go. I think they were supposed to be coming up anyway. I don't know if they're out there.
I need a sheriff's deputy to come to Clinton DHS office, please. I'm performing a citizen's arrest on Lori Holst, a CPS worker,
I have a question for you.
for
Yes.
federal crimes under statute.
Where exactly do you get off calling
18
to inform me that
USC
you are immediately removing my child?
For
Again,
conspiracy to
the
commit
judge has to
kidnapping and
decide
for
that. You inform
Right.
me, you inform me you would be
coercion,
there today to
deceiving a
remove
citizen
my
to
child
surrender
if
their
I did not
constitutional
cooperate with
rights.
you.
We would have paperwork to,
And again,
Ex
you don't
parte removal.
have the right to remove my child unless you're in
Basically,
danger.
they've tried to force their
My
way
child
into
is
our
right
homes
over
and
in
tell
your
us that we
assistant's
have to let
office.
them
She is
interview the
healthy.
children.
She's
We
not
are
in
refusing
danger.
to cooperate
You
with that
asked me
order, but we
initially,
brought them
you were
down
told
here.
exactly,
Jason
nothing
May?
happens.
Kimberly, at the home here.
Jason May,
When she's at DHS, we know
Yep,
she's safe.
Jason,
'cause we can see
Jason.
her and she's okay. We don't know that her safety is assured in the home.
yes ma'am. I
Because
want a
I
sheriff's
just
Sure,
deputy
it's
in
concerned
the Clinton
because
Police
I'm her
Department,
mother,
please.
I'm there. It's awful funny that I have a 20-year-old son that's never had any problems.
Thank you very
Never
much.
been in trouble with the law, not knocked up a girl, never done drugs, never done anything else, but you seem to think that I'm incapable of taking care of my 9-year-old daughter?
That's not what we're
That's
saying.
not-
That is
No.
exactly how it is being approached
What we're
and
saying-
assumed.
No,
You're
no,
going
no,
to
no,
court
no.
assuming that I'm this horrible, rotten person that I would put my child in danger. This is exactly how it is being implied.
Okay.
We,
And you are not making your situation better by constantly calling and harassing me about it. My daughter, I have no problem cooperating with the law as long as it's being done legally. This is what you guys don't
But
seem
we-
to understand. Get a court order from the judge that says you can talk to my child, and you may talk to my child.
Which
Get
is
a
just
court order.
usually-
Get a court order that states that you want a drug test from me. I have no problem cooperating with a drug test, providing it's by the law. That's the only thing. You guys are doing things that are not by the law. And if you remove my child, that is kidnapping.
okay.
My child is not in danger. There was no imminent danger. If there was, you would have been able to get a court order within 24 hours of your phone call. You questioned me on the phone initially. You wouldn't even have had my name or my daughter's name had it not been for me voluntarily returning a phone call to you.
True story.
You were searching for Mr. May. I voluntarily gave you the information informing you that nothing is done in front of my daughter or in her presence.
But-
This is not a lie. This is not something to protect Mr. May. This is something that protects my daughter and myself. And I have been informed over and over again by you, well, I have to do this, I have to do that. And again, the very first time I spoke with you, I informed you, do it correctly to the court and I will comply.
See,
I am
that's
not
just-
being obstinate on it, I just want it to be done legally.
Okay. Typically, we don't have to get the court involved every single time we do an assessment.
I know you don't, I've been on your side of DHS. I have worked,
Okay.
actually, I'm very familiar with Grace, if you want the truth. Because I've had to work with her before while she was studying for her social worker licensing
Okay.
and everything else. So I do know for a fact how everything works. I also had to do programming where I had to go do home visits for people and have to report back to you people on it. And I always found it very suspicious that you were first and foremost to try to remove children from homes where the house was possibly messy and mom worked too many hours, but you didn't bother to do it for kids that had to be run to a hospital twice a week because they stopped breathing and their parents stopped giving them their Refusal. So no offense, but I don't find very much confidence in DHS's services. This is why I have stated it needs to be legal. I am not
Which
being
we are
obstinate,
not.
I am not being forcefully abusive or anything else. Believe me, it is irritating the hell out of me, just like I'm sure it irritates the hell out of you, that you have to have people come in here and argue back and forth with you.
Well, yeah,
But
it's
again-
not how we like to do our
Well, and
job
I don't
either,
like to
but
have
we
things done
to-
this
Just like
way
everybody
either.
to roll
But
over
you
and
need,
comply
but
with
you
your
need to
color
understand
law
that
policies.
as that child's mother, I am her main protection. I don't give a crap what the state says. I am her mother. I will protect her above all and anything else that happens on this
And
planet.
that's our job, is to make sure that you will do that. But
You didn't
without
give birth to her. It's not your job. Besides that fact, I happen to know your personal record dealing with all your speeding tickets. How many kids have been in your car?
Okay.
I don't want somebody invading my daughter's privacy, invading on her. She already sees a therapist for her autism, for social issues. Why would I voluntarily allow somebody to traumatize her? That is what I want to know from you. Why do you think I would allow someone to traumatize her?
Come on in.
How are you guys?
Not good, actually.
What's going on?
I want to perform a citizen's arrest for violations of the Constitution.
Not gonna happen.
Why?
Not gonna happen.
Why not?
Just let you know, we're.
Legal
at,
rights.
Legal rights? I'm under legal rights under Article 804.9 of the Iowa Legal Code, if you must know. That is the ability for a citizen to arrest another citizen when they're in commission of a felony. And what they're attempting to do is a felony under federal law. That's why,
Then my
Things
suggestion
like
to you,
this.
my suggestion to you is
and you are aiding and abetting them in this
file a
felony.
petition with the court. Then. That's what you so choose to do. File your petition.
So you're not gonna actually enforce the Constitution at this point?
Nope.
Even though the Supreme Court says specifically that what they do and what they have tried to do by coercing us to surrender our constitutional rights.
I'm sure that they're within the legal right of the state.
No, they're not. And I have plenty of proof right here to show it.
And that's not something that we get involved with.
What's the issue? What's the issue?
The issue is that she called me and threatened to take our son basically in 48 hours if we didn't comply with coming down here and letting them question our children, which is a direct violation of the Fifth Amendment. They have no right to question your child without any grounds. They have no legal basis at this point.
Come outside so we can talk to you.
They have been told repeatedly for the last 20 days that they are not to contact us, that they are to go through the motions of the court. But now their motions through the court is to kidnap our children instead of actually like charging me with a crime or anything. Bill, you know me. You know I'm not one of these people to cry about shit. I'm not one to play games with things. And I try to do things as legit as possible. And under Article 18, U.S. Supreme Court Ruling 242, I have that power to arrest them for this federal crime.
Not 33.
There
but why
is no
don't you
court
come up?
order. They have nothing in court.
So what did you come down? What did they? How did you get
Because
down
they
here
called
today?
and said we had 48 hours. They called Jamie yesterday and told her that she had 48 hours to bring Dylan in for questioning for them, to interview him, and to bring him in for a safety thing or whatever, or they were going to file to take him from her. He doesn't even fucking live with me. He lives with her. over the same thing I already beat in court the last time, Bill, smoking weed in my house.
This from the last one?
Yeah, and I beat every bit of it on appeal.
Cheaters on getting old.
And I'm done with rolling over for this crap. I've notified the FBI, I've notified the Iowa State's Attorney's Office.
They're in the direction of Cheryl Newport. She's advised them to try to get his voluntary compliance in their investigation. If they do not, or he does not oblige that, then she'll file an exploitative order with the court and remove his children.
Yeah, which
He
means
has
to
no-
remove it on no grounds.
Right, and the one thing with that one is, it's nothing, they're not, they
This
don't have an order
investigation's
right
been
now.
They don't
going
have an
on
order.
since the
They don't have
5th.
an
They
order.
have no
They don't have
court
an
order, no nothing right now, no court, nothing.
However, I was threatened on the phone and told that.
And I have it on
had a
tape.
court order,
Hi,
or that
we
she
didn't
was
know if you guys
obtaining a
were ready
court
for her
order,
yet.
that they were
No.
gonna
No?
remove-
Okay.
And that they were gonna
Sorry.
remove my child from the home, which my child has nothing to do with the charges against Mr. May, other than the fact that we live in the home with him.
Right,
She asked me directly if Mr. May does anything in front of my child. She was told no. That's the deal of me living
And these
with
are
Mr.
completely
May, is
pertinent
nothing
to
is
the
done in
issue at
front of my
hand.
child to be
Those
exposed
are
to.
Supreme Court rulings
And the only thing I have
showing that
asked
we are in the
them
right.
is that I will
They have no
comply.
court order
I just
here.
expect to see the legal
There's no
court order to
jurisdiction for them.
comply.
well, and I think,
And I think where the misunderstanding is before they obtain that legal court order, and you guys haven't.
They're not getting a legal court order to talk to the kids,
Can I
they're getting a
finish?
legal court order to kidnap our kids.
Can I finish talking, please?
they
Okay.
finished.
So the misunderstanding here is they're trying to get your compliance before they obtain that court order. Obviously, that's not something we're gonna get, so they're gonna proceed with obtaining that court order or petitioning the court. When the
But it's a
judge-
China petition to steal our children simply because
When the-
we won't
when the
voluntarily give up our constitutional
when
rights.
the judge makes that determination, and he signs the order, then it's up
What
to
you
him.
probably should do, and we don't have, I mean, we're
Under
not.
804.9, I have the right to arrest them. Right now, right here, I can arrest her for this charge.
What charge? Which one?
The threatening of
Right here,
consent.
coercion to make me surrender my federal rights. She has no court order, no legal grounds to question our kids or us.
We can't enforce federal law. That has to go through the U.S. attorney.
I'm the one performing the citizen's arrest. All you have to do is transport.
We cannot enforce federal law without a U.S. attorney's indictment or complaint and affidavit. And if you call the U.S. attorney's office, they'll tell you that. Even federal officers have to have a complaint. On federal law, you know, Cliff Cronk, I can't think of who the head U.S. attorney is, but federal law, we can't enforce. We can enforce, you know, state laws, local laws. Federal laws have to come from the federal courts or the U.S. attorney's office. I couldn't go out and charge, even if, like, the federal law says
Then-
somebody can't possess
Well, then
more
why
than
do
5
you,
grams of crack.
then I have a question. Why do you take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, yet you sit by and let them do this in clear violation of the Constitution? Please answer me that, Captain. I would really like to know. I would really like to know.
And I didn't need to go back. Our laws, we have the
This
jurisdiction.
supersedes any of
I
your
understand that.
laws.
I don't have access to the federal court. I can't.
You
go
don't
file a
have to.
complaint.
You don't have to. It's not on you guys. The burden of proof is on me. On a citizen's arrest, it is not on
Still
you.
is. If I
Right.
take them up there.
We are part of
yes,
it. We
it's on
become
me.
part
I
of
still
your
go in
arrest.
front of a judge,
Yes.
and I gotta testify.
What I
that
would
everything
do,
you're telling me
if
is
I was
totally
you,
accurate.
is I would go up to the county attorney's office and ask to talk with Cheryl Newport, about this. I know nothing about the case, Jason.
Well, the attorney I'm
Nothing.
retaining, I have an attorney that I have to speak with tomorrow who's already in the process of suing DHS for $50 million for the exact same thing. And I guess since Clinton PD is gonna be, you know, unresponsive to the issue and is gonna clearly take the side of the state that doesn't even have legal grounds to question anyone at this point, then I guess that will have to be listed in the complaint as well. Because pretty soon, it's not in my hands anymore.
Right. But you're asking us to take an arrest on a charge that we can't do. We cannot, call the U.S. Attorney's Office and ask them if Clinton PD can file, if we can
How about
process.
this? How about conspiracy to commit kidnapping? There's the charge.
Right.
Since they have no court order to even threaten the fact,
You have the right to leave. They're not telling you.
They're not
have
telling you
stay
have to,
here.
from what I'm being
Yep.
told. Is
Yeah,
that
they're-
correct?
They're just telling you
At
that
this
if
point,
you're
no.
not, they're gonna go through with their court stuff.
Their
But it sounds like-
whole hope out of the conversations that they had is
Yeah, their
voluntary.
hope is to illegally violate the Constitution and get us to talk and snitch on ourselves, or in some way get
But if-
some kind of
Did they bring
involvement.
you down here? I mean, how did you get here today? Did you come down on your, like,
I was forced down here under duress that if we didn't come down here and speak to them, that they were going to remove our children from our home. And they have no legal grounds to even say that.
Well, however they stated for you to come down here, of course, you're not mandated to stay,
Right.
okay? Now, their next step is, and they told you apparently already, if you don't want to help voluntarily.
Right, but my
No,
point
listen,
is,
I'm not done.
the difference
They're
here
gonna go
is-
up in front of the judge and see if the judge then will sign this
But
other
that's
thing to
two
then remove the
separate
kids is what it sounds
issues.
like.
No, they are not trying to get a court order to question the children. They're getting a court order to take the children.
Right, and that's what was said today. That's
Based
part
on
of the
us
stipulation.
standing up for our constitutional
But I
rights.
think here, Jason, it's like if I went and got a warrant for you today for something you didn't do, and I submit that court order, let's say I say that Jason threatened to throw bleach on me or something goofy like that, and I went up and, but you never said it, you didn't do anything, and I went up and presented that to a judge, and I signed my name to that, there's where a crime's committed, it's called perjury. If that's the case, and I don't know nothing about the case, if they go up and present something that's not factual, that they can't back up, then you've got a case. Then you can go back and you've actually got in writing, not only potentially a criminal case of perjury, but a civil case.
I've got a civil case now, Bill.
No, I'm not saying that you don't, I'm talking about, I don't, but you gotta
Not to
understand, I
mention
don't
the
know any
malicious
of that.
prosecution being that this is the 4th time that they're doing this.
Right. And
This
I
is
don't
the
know any,
4th time that
you and I
DHS
talked that
has
one time,
harassed
but I haven't
me
heard,
and my-
you and I haven't talked about this lately, so I
Yeah,
didn't
that
know
was
you
the
were
case
still
that I
having
just
issues.
showed you, that I
Right.
completely
Right.
wiped out, other than I took Grant to a hockey game at Jiffy's house, and since Jiffy had been, Jeff Potoff, since he had
Oh.
been busted prior, like years ago for possession and whatever, that they construed that as unsafe and as,
Somewhere
failure to
not
provide
supposed to be.
proper supervision.
Right.
A
But
founded assessment, it
all
wasn't a
of-
crime, it was a founded assessment at that time.
And it didn't
We're
stay
not saying
founded.
you're doing
She
anything
confirmed it and
criminal,
wiped
okay?
it from the record based on the fact that everything else you guys did was completely fraudulent.
We're just wondering if you're willing to cooperate today,
The only reason we're here is because I'm broke.
okay? If you're not
If I was
willing,
rich,
if you're
we
not
wouldn't
willing to
be having this
cooperate voluntarily,
conversation.
we take our next step and we'll talk to the judge in the morning, okay?
my thing is,
For
to
the
talk to
judge-
the judge, you could get a warrant for their hair, you could get a warrant for my pee, you could get
And
a
he might
warrant
say
for all that.
He might say that.
But
He
you guys
might-
aren't pushing for that. You're pushing to seize the children.
No.
That's why I'm fucking down here.
Okay. At this,
If you would have said, we'll get a court order so that way we can talk to the children and come to your home, then that's one thing.
We'll present
But when
to
you
the
tell me
judge-
that you're gonna present some shit to the judge that I can't even look at, and you're gonna present that to the judge to take my kids away? No. There's no way in hell I'm gonna sit down for that.
and the judge would then have to determine whether or not we have the right and
Because
we
at this
have the
point, you haven't even
imminent
talked
risk,
to a
okay?
judge. That's
Okay.
why we're here now.
Okay.
Because you're trying to circumvent the court system and violate my rights to due process.
So at this point, we will conclude our interview today. You're not willing to let us do the things I asked you to do, drug test you, drug test the kids, drug
You
test
have no
people.
legal grounds for
Okay.
'em.
So we'll ask you to leave with the children. We will pursue what we need to pursue with the court system tomorrow, okay?
And if they do, and if it's not founded,
The
Jason,
judge
then you
tells us to
gotta.
go fly a kite, we'll go fly a kite.
It's not about being founded or any
Well,
of that.
the other thing you
It's
may
the
wanna
fact
do-
that this is just complete blatant harassment.
What I may do is talk to Cheryl beforehand, Jason. Somebody's close there.
Who is the lady sitting here, bud?
My girlfriend.
Okay, that's hers.
Well, either you can let them violate your constitutional rights, let them violate Dylan's constitutional rights and talk to them, or they're gonna go file the paperwork tomorrow. These police officers will not enforce the Constitution on a citizen's arrest. They can't, supposedly. They can't enforce federal law that they take an oath to uphold, but they can't do it.
All right, well, you can go yell outside.
So, what are you doing then?
I don't know. I'll talk to my son and see what he wants to do.
It's pretty simple. Dylan, do you want to talk to DHS? He's 10. He has that legal right. Do you want to talk to them?
I will talk to him without you here. That will make it easier.
All right. Well, that's on you then. Don't look to me to
I'll be fine.
don't look to me to help you when they take Dylan from you.
Oh,
They're gonna take him away from
Jason,
you
your
when you
girlfriend's still in there, just so you know.
You don't live with
Where
your
is she?
Does she have a daughter in there or something? She said something about checking on her daughter.
Mariska.
Yeah, what's wrong with Mariska?
I don't know.
She left the room.
She
said
left the room
wanted
to
check
go
on
out and talk to her for a minute.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know who that is. Never-
So where is she at then?
She was
She's back, she's
coloring.
Because we can go.
I told her she was free to go.
Because bringing them down here and letting them see him is sufficient for the court to see that he's not in imminent danger of.
Yeah. Maybe one over there.